I've been blessed with an amazing father, so this year I'm giving him the best gift I could think of, a man with a big white beard who sits on a cloud and sounds like Morgan Freeman. He is madly in love with us. Joel Osteen, the face of Lakewood Church and a beacon of hope for millions, has built a legacy that seems almost untouchable. But now, it's not Joel making headlines. That you don't know, you have talents, and sometimes God uses adversity to push us into a new level of our destiny. It's his son, Jonathan. At 29, Jonathan Osteen has stepped out of his father's shadow to address rumors that have followed their family for years. The rumors, the speculation, are they true? And what does this revelation mean for one of the most influential families in the world of faith? Get ready because this revelation might just change everything you thought you knew. Let's dive in. When you think of Joel Osteen, what comes to mind? Perhaps it's his warm smile, his uplifting sermons, or the packed arenas where thousands hang on to his every word. Yet, beneath the polished image and the global fame lies a story that few truly know, a story of humble beginnings, personal struggles, and an unwavering faith that propelled him to become one of the most recognizable faces in modern Christianity. Joel Osteen's legacy didn't begin in grandeur. Born in 1963 in Houston, Texas, Joel grew up in a family that prioritized faith over fortune. His father, John Osteen, was a passionate pastor who started Lakewood Church in a small converted feed store. In those days, the church was far from the megachurch it is today. It was humble, a gathering place where people sought solace, community, and hope through John's heartfelt sermons. Life for the Osteen family was simple, and their financial situation reflected that simplicity. They weren't wealthy, and there were no luxurious homes or flashy cars in sight. But what the family lacked in material wealth, they made up for in spiritual richness. John Osteen's dedication to spreading God's word was matched by his devotion to his family. Joel often recalled his father leading family prayers, creating a strong foundation of faith that would shape his future. Surprisingly, Joel wasn't always interested in ministry. While he admired his father's work, Joel preferred to stay behind the scenes. For 17 years, he worked diligently as the producer of Lakewood's television broadcasts. His knack for storytelling and production helped expand the church's reach, but Joel had no intention of stepping into the pulpit himself. In his own words, he didn't feel called to preach, or so he thought. Everything changed in 1999. The Osteen family was shaken by the sudden passing of John Osteen, and the future of Lakewood Church hung in the balance. At 36 years old, Joel faced a pivotal decision. Despite his fears and doubts, he stepped up to deliver his first sermon. It was a moment filled with uncertainty, but it marked the beginning of an incredible transformation, not just for Joel, but for Lakewood Church as a whole. Under Joel's leadership, Lakewood Church grew into a global powerhouse. By 2005, the church moved into the iconic Compact Center, a former sports arena capable of seating over 16,000 people. This move symbolized the church's unprecedented growth and ambition. Today, Lakewood welcomes tens of thousands of attendees every week, with millions more tuning in from over 100 countries. Joel's messages of hope, faith, and positivity resonate across the globe, reaching people from all walks of life. All walks of life. Of course, Joel's success hasn't come without challenges. Over the years, he has faced criticism for his so-called prosperity gospel, with some accusing him of focusing too much on material blessings. His handling of certain situations, like the backlash during Hurricane Harvey in 2017, also sparked controversy. Yet, Joel has remained steadfast, often stating that his mission is to inspire and uplift others, not to dwell on negativity. Despite the debates, Joel Osteen's impact is undeniable. His best-selling books, including Your Best Life Now and Become a Better You, have inspired millions. His ability to make faith accessible and relatable has set him apart, cementing his legacy as one of the most influential pastors of our time. But as much as Joel Osteen has shaped Lakewood Church, here's the question everyone is asking: what's the future of Lakewood? What about the next generation? Joel's son, Jonathan Osteen, has been quietly stepping into the spotlight in recent years. A talented musician, a confident speaker, and now an emerging figure within the church, Jonathan brings a fresh and modern perspective to the family's ministry. But will he be the one to take over Lakewood Church? Will he embrace the same vision Joel has so passionately built for Lakewood, or will he carve out a completely new path for himself? Jonathan has already hinted at his vision for the future, sharing insights that challenge everything we thought we knew about who he is and what he stands for. So what has he said that's caught everyone off guard? And more importantly, what could these revelations mean for the future of this global ministry? Keep watching, the answers might not be what you expect. Getting to know Jonathan Osteen. Jonathan Osteen, the son of renowned Pastor Joel Osteen, may not carry the same global recognition as his father, but his life and career tell a story just as intriguing. Born into a family rooted deeply in faith and leadership, Jonathan spent his childhood in Houston, Texas, immersed in the vibrant community of Lakewood Church. From a young age, it was evident that he had inherited the Osteen family's passion for uplifting others, but in his own way, one that often leaned toward quiet introspection rather than the dynamic charisma his father is known for. Jonathan's early years were marked by a profound love for music. He discovered his passion for the guitar and would spend countless hours in his room strumming chords, crafting melodies, and writing heartfelt lyrics. This wasn't just a hobby, it was an outlet for self-expression and a way to connect with his faith on a deeper level. As he grew older, his passion transformed into purpose. Jonathan took on a prominent role in leading worship at Lakewood Church, standing beside his parents during Sunday services. For many in the congregation, seeing Jonathan sing and play the guitar was a moving experience. His soulful voice and heartfelt performances created an emotional connection that felt almost effortless. But beneath the surface was a young man deeply dedicated to perfecting his craft, someone who approached his role with sincerity and humility. A moment that perfectly captured Jonathan's character unfolded during a Lakewood Church Christmas service. While leading a powerful worship song, his guitar string snapped mid-performance. It was the kind of moment that might have flustered even seasoned performers, yet Jonathan smiled, kept singing, and carried the song to its conclusion without missing a beat. Seemingly small incidents spoke volumes about his ability to remain calm under pressure and adapt with grace, qualities that subtly distinguish him from his father's bold and confident demeanor. Jonathan's journey didn't stop at leading worship. He ventured into songwriting, merging contemporary and Christian influences to create music that resonated across generations. As the frontman of LYA, a band formed with friends from the Lakewood worship team, Jonathan found a unique voice through songs like In the Name and Feeling. LYA addressed themes of hope and perseverance in a way that connected with younger audiences. It became clear that Jonathan wasn't content to simply follow in his father's footsteps. He was forging a path of his own, one where music became his ministry. Despite the spotlight that comes with being part of the Osteen family, Jonathan has remained grounded. His social media offers glimpses into his life, highlighting his close relationships with his family, especially his sister, Alexandra, who shares his love for music. Jonathan often credits his parents for instilling in him the values of kindness and perseverance, but he's refreshingly candid about the fact that he's still figuring out his path. What sets Jonathan apart most is his approach to both faith and career. While his father is known for delivering powerful sermons to massive audiences, Jonathan's style feels more personal and intimate. Rather than commanding stadiums, he finds joy in connecting with smaller groups through his music. It's a quieter, more introspective approach that underscores his individuality. This contrast between Jonathan and his father makes us wonder, can Jonathan continue the Osteen legacy while staying true to his unique, understated nature, or will he choose a different path entirely? Let's pause for a moment and put ourselves in his shoes. The burden of expectations. Have you ever felt the crushing weight of trying to live up to what others expect of you? Maybe it's as simple as following in a sibling's footsteps or as daunting as carrying on a family legacy. Now, imagine those expectations magnified 1,000-fold. Picture millions of people analyzing your every move, waiting to see if you'll rise to the challenge or falter under the pressure. That's the reality Jonathan Osteen was born into. From the moment he took his first steps, he wasn't just a child in an ordinary family, he was part of a legacy. His father's influence extends far beyond the walls of Lakewood Church, which has grown into one of the largest congregations in the world. Jonathan's life was never just about being a son, it was about inheriting the weight of a name recognized by millions. Imagine growing up in the shadow of such a figure. Jonathan's earliest memories likely involve being surrounded by thousands of people at Lakewood Church, hearing his father preach, and witnessing the powerful impact of his family's ministry. While most kids were learning to ride bikes or struggling through math homework, Jonathan was absorbing the magnitude of his family's role in the world. But with privilege comes pressure. It's not just about the opportunities he's had, but the expectations that follow. People naturally wonder, will he be the next Joel Osteen? Can he inspire people the same way his father does? These aren't questions any child can easily answer. When Jonathan first stepped onto the stage to sing or speak, it wasn't just a moment for him, it was a defining moment that carried the weight of generations. Moment for the world to evaluate him, was he good enough? Did he have the same spark as his father? The comparisons were inevitable, and while they may open doors, they also create invisible chains. For Jonathan, it's a balancing act between embracing the opportunities that come with his last name and carving out his own identity. How do you show the world who you are when everyone already thinks they know? This is a challenge faced by many children of famous figures. Take Franklin Graham, the son of the iconic Billy Graham. Before he embraced his role in ministry, Franklin struggled with his identity and went through his own period of rebellion. Or consider Jaden and Willow Smith, the children of Hollywood superstar Will Smith. Both have spoken openly about the pressures of growing up in the spotlight, where every choice they make is scrutinized and compared to their father's success. Jonathan Osteen faces a similar crossroads. He is talented, his musical abilities and his presence on stage are undeniable. But his journey isn't just about talent, it's about stepping out from his father's shadow and proving he is more than Joel Osteen's son. He's Jonathan Osteen, with his own dreams, his own voice, and his own story to tell. This struggle to define oneself is universal, but when your life is amplified on a global scale, the stakes feel immeasurably higher. Jonathan's path is still unfolding, but one thing is certain, being part of the Osteen family means navigating a dynamic blend of love, faith, and, yes, controversy. And speaking of dynamics, the Osteen family has more layers than most people realize. Let's take a closer look into the intricate web of relationships, faith, and challenges that make up the Osteen family. The Osteen family dynamics. When it comes to the Osteen family, the first thing that often comes to mind is their powerful influence in the world of televangelism. Joel Osteen, the face of Lakewood Church, has captivated millions with his messages of hope and positivity. But there's so much more to the Osteen family than meets the eye, and it's fascinating to take a closer look at their personal lives and the values that shape their journey. At the heart of this powerhouse duo is Victoria Osteen, who has long stood beside Joel not only as his wife but also as the co-pastor of Lakewood Church. While Joel is often in the spotlight, Victoria plays an equally crucial role in the ministry, sharing the stage with him as they deliver inspiring messages to their congregation. For many years, she's been a guiding force behind the scenes, helping to build the family's empire both spiritually and practically. As co-pastor, Victoria's influence extends far beyond the walls of the church. Her role is a testament to the collaborative nature of their partnership, which is founded on mutual respect and shared values. But what makes their family dynamic unique? Faith and family are undeniably central to their lives. The Osteens have consistently emphasized how important it is to nurture their relationship with God as well as with each other. From the outside, their family life appears almost picture-perfect, a model of unity and devotion. They often speak about their commitment to creating a loving, supportive environment for their children, Jonathan and Alexandra, raising them with a strong foundation rooted in Christian principles. In interviews, the Osteens have shared how they make time for one another despite their busy schedules. Family vacations, quiet dinners, and shared moments of prayer are often highlighted as important rituals that help keep them grounded. It's clear that they value the role their family plays in both their personal lives and ministry. This close-knit dynamic has undoubtedly contributed to their success, allowing them to create a unified front for their followers. Their shared vision for Lakewood Church and their emphasis on kindness, generosity, and faith has resonated with millions of viewers worldwide. However, like any family, the Osteen household is not without its challenges. While they often present a polished image to the public, there have been moments in their journey that have sparked speculation and debate. Some have wondered about the tensions that might exist beneath the surface of their seemingly perfect family life. For example, while their strong faith and shared values are frequently discussed, how do they handle the pressures of being in the public eye, particularly when faced with criticism or controversies? And in a world where media scrutiny is relentless, how do they maintain their bond as a family while being constantly watched? Perhaps one of the most talked about aspects of the Osteen family dynamic is their lifestyle, which has not been without its fair share of controversy. Critics have often questioned the extravagant lifestyle that the Osteens are known for, particularly in light of their roles as faith leaders. Joel Osteen's luxurious multi-million-dollar mansion in River Oaks, Houston, has been a frequent topic of conversation. With a price tag reported to be in the tens of millions, the home has raised eyebrows among some who believe that such opulence is at odds with the values of modesty and humility often associated with religious figures. But the Osteen family has never shied away from defending their choices. In fact, they've openly discussed their belief that success and abundance are not inherently wrong as long as they are earned honestly and used responsibly. Joel has often shared that his wealth comes from the hard work he and his family have put into building Lakewood Church into what it is today. His messages often reflect the idea that God wants his followers to live prosperous and fulfilling lives, and that includes enjoying the fruits of their labor. Despite the critics, there's no denying that the Osteens have created a brand that extends far beyond just religion. Their books, television appearances, and merchandise have made them a household name. But with that fame comes inevitable scrutiny. Some have questioned the lavish lifestyles enjoyed by the Osteens, particularly in the context of their church's tax-exempt status. The church itself, while enormous and influential, has faced criticism for its financial transparency and the amount of money it generates. Some argue that the wealth accumulated by Lakewood Church and its leaders could be used more effectively to help those in need, particularly given the size of the congregation and the global reach of their ministry. However, the Osteens have continued to focus on the positive impact they believe their work is having on people's lives. Through charitable initiatives and outreach programs, they claim to be giving back in meaningful ways. Their annual Night of Hope events and other philanthropic efforts are designed to uplift communities and provide support to those who are struggling. These efforts often highlight the family's commitment to making a difference despite the occasional backlash they face. But the question remains, can a family maintain their of a legacy as significant as the Osteen family's? Finding your own identity becomes both a privilege and a challenge. The question remains, can they maintain their close bond and sense of purpose while living under the intense scrutiny of the public eye? And how do they navigate the balance between personal success and the values of humility and service? While the Osteen family continues to project an image of unity and faith, it's clear that the pressures they face are not easy to ignore. There's another aspect to consider as well, the generational shift within the Osteen family. While Joel and Victoria have built their empire, what's next for their children? Will Jonathan and Alexandra follow in their parents' footsteps, or will they forge their own paths? For years, people have speculated about Jonathan Osteen's future. Would he follow in his father's footsteps and take over the pulpit at Lakewood Church, one of the largest congregations in the world? Or would he carve out his own unique path, far removed from the spotlight and expectations of ministry? Some even wondered if he might reject the spotlight altogether, choosing a quieter life behind the scenes. The questions lingered, and the rumors grew louder. Many fans of the Osteen family assumed Jonathan would naturally step into his father's shoes one day, leading sermons and guiding the church's millions of followers. After all, he's grown up in the public eye, immersed in the teachings of faith and leadership. On the other hand, others speculated that Jonathan might prefer to use his talents elsewhere, perhaps as a musician or entrepreneur. For those who have followed his journey, the guessing game about Jonathan's plans has been both intriguing and puzzling. Think about it, imagine having to navigate life with everyone watching your every move, expecting you to live up to a legacy that spans decades. For Jonathan, this legacy isn't just any ordinary one, it's a legacy built by his father, who has inspired millions with messages of hope and positivity. Can you feel the weight of those expectations? For Jonathan, these expectations are layered with faith, ministry, and the responsibility of guiding countless people. That's a lot to carry on your shoulders, especially when you're still finding your footing as an adult. It didn't help that Jonathan remained tight-lipped about his plans for so long. He didn't make any bold public statements about his intentions, leaving room for interpretation, and, yes, even wild speculation. Some saw his active involvement in Lakewood Church as a sign that he was already being groomed for leadership. Others pointed to his musical pursuits as proof that he was more interested in pursuing a creative career than one behind the pulpit. But what does Jonathan Osteen really want for his future? That's the million-dollar question, and it's one that he's finally begun to address. In a recent interview, Jonathan Osteen peeled back the curtain on what it's like to grow up in the shadow of such a prominent legacy. For years, he's lived with the world speculating about his next move, and while he didn't lay out a step-by-step plan or address every rumor, his words offered a rare insight into the crossroads he now faces. Jonathan reflected on the unique privilege of being part of a family that has had such a profound impact on millions of lives. But he was equally candid about the challenges that come with it. It's not about meeting other people's expectations, he shared. It's about following the path that God has for me. These words, simple yet profound, paint a picture of someone wrestling with not just external pressures but also an internal call. When you're part of a legacy as significant as the Osteen family's, finding your own identity becomes both a privilege and a challenge. Of something as monumental as Lakewood Church, it's easy for people to make assumptions about your future. Some believe Jonathan is already being groomed to take over from his father, Joel Osteen, while others think he might use his talents to carve out a career far from the pulpit. His response seems to walk a delicate balance between honoring his family's work and creating space for his own unique path. So, what do his words really mean? Could this be a sign that Jonathan is preparing to take on a larger role at Lakewood Church, or is this a subtle indication that he's looking to blend his deep connection to music with his faith in an entirely new way? After all, Jonathan's love for music is no secret. He's been a key member of Lakewood's worship team, often leading powerful moments of praise and worship during services. It's possible that Jonathan sees music as a bridge, a way to touch people's hearts while still aligning with the ministry's message. Could we see him step into a role where he combines his musical talent with spiritual leadership? Or perhaps he's envisioning something entirely fresh, a platform that brings together creativity, faith, and service in ways we haven't seen before. While his statement leaves plenty of room for interpretation, one thing is crystal clear: Jonathan is someone who isn't afraid to forge his own path, even if it looks nothing like what others expect. He's choosing to focus not on living up to others' visions, but on following what he feels is his God-given purpose. The hidden challenges he faces. Jonathan's journey may appear polished from the outside, but beneath the surface lies a whirlwind of emotional and legal challenges that have tested him in ways few could imagine. At the heart of it all is a lawsuit that doesn't just threaten his finances, it threatens the Osteen family's carefully cultivated image, built over decades of faith and devotion. This legal battle, stemming from a devastating car crash, has dragged him into the spotlight for all the wrong reasons, and the details surrounding the case are as shocking as they are heartbreaking. It all traces back to a tragic accident that took place on State Highway 35 in Texas in 2016. Jonathan was driving southbound on the highway, a route he likely traveled countless times. That day, however, routine turned to tragedy as Tony Tran and Kay Vu traveled in the same direction. They prepared to make a left turn onto St. Joseph Street, a maneuver requiring them to stop their vehicle and signal their intentions. On the two-lane highway with no dedicated turn lane, such stops were common on that stretch of road. What happened next was anything but routine. As Tran and Vu waited to safely make their turn, Jonathan's car approached at a speed that proved disastrous. In the blink of an eye, his vehicle collided with the rear of Tran's car with immense force. The crash was so severe that the back of Tran's vehicle crumpled under the impact, sending shockwaves through the lives of everyone involved. Tran and Vu, both seriously injured, were rushed to Palacios Community Medical Center for emergency care. For them, what should have been a regular day turned into an unimaginable ordeal. At first, the crash seemed like a tragic accident, one of those unfortunate moments where fate conspires against everyone involved. However, as time went on, the narrative took a darker turn. Tran and Vu, who spent months recovering from their injuries, began to insist that the collision wasn't just bad luck, it was avoidable. Their claims painted Jonathan in a troubling light, alleging that his behavior behind the wheel directly contributed to the crash. According to court documents, Tran and Vu accused Jonathan of being distracted at the time of the accident. Whether he was looking at his phone, adjusting the radio, or simply fatigued, they argued that his focus wasn't on the road where it should have been. This wasn't just a matter of carelessness in their eyes, it was negligence. The lawsuit also highlighted a chilling and specific detail: there were no skid marks at the scene of the crash. This pointed to the possibility that Jonathan didn't even attempt to brake or swerve before the collision. For Tran and Vu, this was evidence that he had been entirely inattentive, turning what might have been a preventable accident into a life-altering event for them. Further complicating matters was the official Texas peace officer's crash report. The report stated unequivocally that Jonathan's failure to control his speed was the sole contributing factor to the accident. This piece of evidence painted a grim picture, adding weight to Tran and Vu's claims that the crash was the result of recklessness rather than an unavoidable tragedy. Tran and Vu's demands are not just about pointing fingers, they are about accountability. They are seeking over $1 million in damages, citing mounting medical expenses, emotional trauma, and ongoing physical pain that they attribute to the accident. To them, this lawsuit represents a chance to find justice and closure for the hardships they've endured. For Jonathan, however, the case has become a grueling ordeal. The financial implications are significant, but the emotional toll is even greater. As the son of Joel Osteen, one of the most recognizable figures in the world of faith-based leadership, Jonathan has grown up under the scrutiny of millions. The Osteen family's reputation is intertwined with values of compassion, accountability, and integrity, making any public controversy a direct threat to their legacy. The weight of these expectations is crushing for Jonathan. This isn't just about defending himself in court, it's about protecting his family's name and the trust of their congregation. Every detail of the lawsuit is dissected in public, leaving little room for privacy or peace. This chapter of Jonathan's life is a stark reminder that even those who seem to live charmed lives are not immune to life's challenges. His journey through this legal storm is a testament to the fact that everyone, regardless of their status or family name, must confront their own trials. For Jonathan, the road ahead is uncertain, but one thing is clear: the decisions he makes in the face of this adversity will shape not only his future but also the legacy of the Osteen family. Do you think Jonathan Osteen will uphold the legacy his father has set for Lakewood, or will he carve his own path entirely? Share your thoughts with us in the comments. Thanks for watching, fam. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe to our channel. While you're still here, check out the next video that pops up on your screen.